Hello, this is Bertha Jans from Freedom to Learn. It is December 15th, 2023, and we are here with Will. And Will is here to share with us the concerns that he has with the public education system that his child is enrolled in. So, Will, tell us what's going on.
Well, I have some immediate concerns that I've been dealing with in recent, and obviously some more long-term concerns. Long-term, the education system, in my mind, has been in a state of decay for some time, before my children were enrolled, and I've been trying to combat that myself at home by educating my kids and managing that as best I can, while also struggling with the public education system to understand where the teachers are coming from, where the rules are coming from, and um, uh, how I can do my part to help fix that and safeguard my children from these concerns, so that they can benefit from the education system as much as they can while they're there.
Okay, so you're saying uh, that safeguard, do you feel like your children are at risk?
Correct.
Why is that?
So, to my immediate concerns, my children are at risk because their classrooms are locked down on an average of two, sometimes three times a week. My children, and the others are evacuated out of their classrooms while one child is locked inside the classroom having
Episode.
that's what they call it. Yeah, an
Okay,
episode of destruction.
okay, so how they're dealing with it is, and yeah, I worked in the public system too. This is actually what I did. Um, so, so just to confirm with what's happening with your child is that the other children are being evacuated. Well, the one child is in the classroom, and that's disruptive, of course, for their education.
Yeah.
And also that you do you feel vulnerable that your child is at risk to get hurt.
Yes. Long term, yes. That's a very short term fix, and maybe in the immediate during the episode, like it's nice that they evacuate my child away from that, and I feel like they are trying their best to safeguard my child from that situation. However,
It's damage control.
it's traumatizing, certainly. So there's obviously the mental aspect of it and what it's doing to my child and what they're seeing and how the school is reacting. They are learning from that, which I don't think that lesson is a good lesson at all. And then there's the child that is having the episode and what they are learning and how that could set the tone, the stage for episodes to progress. And to be very blunt about it, I think you're breeding a school shooter. Sorry to be dramatic, but I think that you are this isolating
When
this
does it
child on their
stop?
own and then bringing them back into the classroom, sometimes the very next day. It doesn't seem to be very systematic because sometimes I'll learn that the kid was back the next day or 2 days later or what have you. So it doesn't seem to be a very um, the system that's in place doesn't seem to have a very consistent rule surrounding how the child is reintroduced after that. And so the other kids looking at that situation are probably confused. One, two, the child that's in that situation, that's having that episode, I certainly feel bad and terrible for him as well. But all he is learning is his lack of consequence to his actions, for one, and that the world will cater around him and his episode. And as he gets older and starts to learn that that is not the case, or refuses to learn that that is not the case, these episodes will get increasingly more violent, and I don't want my child anywhere near that. And in my mind, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that that is breeding a school shooter.
Okay. I gotta say, because I am from the public where I've worked with, this was my job, damage control, and that's what bothered me, of course, because it didn't support the child with the behavior. The reason for why he's behaving. It was more about um, the behavior itself. It was damage control, and that's a problem. So you're helping no one. So you're right to say where does it stop? Where does it end if you're not dealing with the reason? So I get that. So now, what are you taking measures? So, sorry, first of all, how is this affecting your
My kids?
child? Yeah.
Well, learning is disrupted, and so when this happens and they're pulled out of their classroom, I understand that the school does the best that they can to gather those children in another room in another location and continue on with the lesson. However, they left everything in the classroom. It is a everyone out.
Limited.
It is the
Yeah.
fire alarm isn't pulled, but for all intents and purposes, it's everyone out.
Yeah. They
And
have procedures.
yeah, so
But
I
that
can't
limits
imagine that the
litigation.
lesson continues on fluidly. I know that it doesn't. I know that my child is missing out on a class, sometimes three. Sometimes, depending on the extent of the damage, it takes longer for the cleanup crew to get in and out of there. And we find that personal belongings have been broken as well. And so, when you have a child, mine or others, that have a great pride in their things and how they take care of them, and then they find them destroyed, and there's a lack of consequences around that when they know that they come home. If one of my children were to destroy the belongings of another one of my children, I don't lock them in a room and allow them to destroy more. That is not, no, that's not acceptable behavior. Now I understand that that's me running my household and that's not a classroom full of children, so there is a difference there. But um, there's
You're saying that there could be
that's
better ways to deal
you're
with it.
definitely raising the anxiety levels of a small child significantly,
Yeah.
and
And breaking
causing
relationships.
breaking relationships. Your respect for the rules, and the rules at home, because they're learning a different set of rules at home than they are at school. And then there's the worry of what if they don't pull that fire alarm? I know they don't pull the fire alarm, but what happens if they don't evacuate just fast enough? This is like waiting for an angry dog that you know is, ooh, shouldn't let my kids around that dog because sometimes he growls. Are you gonna wait until that dog bites your animal? What happens if I don't get there fast enough? What happens if that's something that I personally went through with an animal, and the feeling is like the exact same. If the teachers, and not to their own fault, and it's the system does not work fast enough, if it doesn't work accurately enough, then certainly the potential for physical
Harm.
damage is there. And if that were to happen, then and especially to my child, uh,
So,
I as a father, as maybe a little bit of an overbearing father, would step in and hopefully not do anything stupid.
okay. So, um, the so do you feel that the school is prioritizing the child or the policy and or the damage?
I think that they are prioritizing the damage, but what damage? I do not fault the teacher, the principal, or the school even for this. I do believe that these are things that tie to a much deeper issue with the decay of society, but that's a different video and a different problem that needs to be solved. However, I feel terrible for these teachers. That these teachers' belongings in these instances is destroyed
So
as
then,
well. Not just pencil crayons and a lunchbox, but we're talking laptops and projectors and real expenses to the school. And so I know that they're taking just as much of a hit, and I understand that their hands are tied because they don't want to be sued by the parents of the child having the episode or the child that's not having the episode. And so they're having to do this balancing act of trying not to piss off the wrong person, and that's an impossible situation.
No, well, the thing is that it's illegal for them to do anything
Exactly.
about that too. So
So
they
do I
have to
take my
go by.
concerns to the school board, who sets the rules? And in all honesty, is it a newer phenomenon? Like, this is recent and more immediate, but early on in my child's education, this was not a thing. Now that they've progressed and have made their way up a little bit, it's becoming a thing, and a frequent thing.
Yeah, it becomes a pattern because yeah, um, as the kids get older too, if they haven't supported them in things or whatever, then yeah, that it becomes a reaction to lack of support. But then also it's they're I took a bit of child psychology, but their education and their behavior are very very intertwined. So if this child is frustrated or bored or there's many reasons for them to do that, then yeah, that is how they react, right?
Mhm.
And so it's not. I know it's not only just trained in this and my experience in this, but yeah, it was a disaster because it was like we're not dealing with the reason, we're dealing with the behavior,
Symptoms.
and we're not fixing it that way, which was a problem. So how do you think, like, what are things that could be different, like done differently to help everybody?
Well, first
Because you
and
can't control
foremost,
what goes on at home,
no,
right?
no.
But like you said, school is a different
Well,
environment
I
than
can't
home,
control what
right?
goes on at home for that child that's having this episode.
Yeah.
So I understand that. We live in a free society, um, which is in a state of decay. And so it is incumbent, I believe, on parents to step up and fill some of these gaps. I think there's been we're going to drift into politics, but I think there's been a long standing tradition as of late to forego the responsibilities as a parent to the government and to the school system. There are parents out there who are not good parents, who are not having good uh, uh, birds and the bees talks with their children. And so let's introduce sex education into the grade schools, because there's kids out there that don't know what's going on and their parents aren't helping them. And there's parents that are mismanaging this at home behaviorally, behavior classes. And so let's have the government or the school now do this. We've been just passing these responsibilities off to these teachers, and then at the same time raising the stakes on them. I can tell when I talk to my child's teachers and the principal themselves that they live in fear. They're talking to me like someone who just needs to make sure that I'm not upset and I'm not going to file a lawsuit. And that's not what I'm after. I'm not after persecuting the teacher or the principals or the school. I live in a small town. Everyone knows everyone, including the teacher and the principal. These people are part of my community. I do not wish any harm on them. I know that they do not wish any harm on my child. I know that they're doing their level best to safeguard my child from harm. Do I believe that it is the best? No. I know that they believe it is. And
So
so,
we need some boundaries and policies in place, as in
yes,
if
but
you enter the school, then this is this
this
is
is
how
this is
it's
what's
done,
expected of
like a
you. And
workforce.
so that
Yeah,
would
yeah,
that would require parents and communities coming together and filling some of these gaps uh,
that everybody's in it for the same reason, and that's to prioritize the students.
exactly.
Yeah.
Not only at home teaching your kids, like a lot of us, and myself included, at home teach my child how to behave with other children, with themselves being the priority, and never mind what student X does
Your
or
own
what's
personal
happening. Yes, yes,
values.
you need to learn. I
Yes.
want my child to be like I've thought of private education. I do want my child to be in public education because I do want them to see the real world, to grow up in the real world, and know what's
Part
out
of the
there,
real world.
and be able to navigate it.
Hmm.
And so that's important to me, and that's why I'm not really interested all that much in a private education that isolates them from all of this, because it's out there, and for how long can I keep them in that bubble? Uh, so Parents, a lot of this I feel like is actually on the fault of us as parents. We're not involved. I don't remember the last time I was invited to any board meetings or meetings where these decisions are decided as far as the policies. Now, that's fine. I wasn't invited. I didn't seek it out either. So that's my fault. I know these meetings take place and I don't seek them out. I know that I've disconnected myself, looking at everyone else and what everyone is doing in the school system, and just throwing my hands up. And as long as I do my part with my children, then hopefully that will safeguard them from everyone else.
But
But
it's becoming difficult.
that is maybe the wrong approach, and I
As they get older, it becomes more
yeah.
difficult.
Well, and I'm not tied into my community as well as I should be, and maybe that would be better, but. Um, yeah, I think there's a silent majority as far as the parents are concerned that share these concerns and have these thoughts just like I do, but we're all sitting at home just worried first and foremost about our own children, but maybe as part of worrying about what's best for our own child also includes worrying about what's happening with other children around them and the school system and how that affects them. And isolation is maybe not the best policy, as I'm finding out with this lockdown issue. Just isolating this kid and throwing everyone else out of the classroom is clearly not working. Well, that's similar to the attitude that I've taken with my children, and so it's been a bit of a look in the mirror uh, for myself as well. So I'm not angry, but I am concerned. I'm worried.
So, um, do you feel like you are being supported by the school in your worry, as in like, are there resources, or are you, talking about this and how they can help you? Because yeah, you're a concerned parent, right? And if you do you go in there to to ask for help, or
I
are you just
have,
kind
yes,
of
but
winging it?
they're too busy. You call, you leave messages, you get a call back at an inconvenient time, because I understand that they're busy. So do I think that there's resources there to help resolve this? No, I think that their resources are stretched too thin as it is, um, and I think that there's
But to support your worry as a parent, that they walk you through the policies, that you know, they like their procedures and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is why we do it, and this is
no.
right, because then you've got a common ground to say, okay, well, right, but there is nothing individual about it either,
I'm not
right?
going to say
So,
that there is nothing. I'm going to say that that there has been nothing afforded to me. I have not gotten that response when airing my concerns, and
what kind of response do you get?
we're the long and short. We're taking care of it as best we can. That's essentially the response I get. We have a new plan in place, only to learn from my child that same as it was yesterday.
Yeah,
Now I understand that I'm taking information from a child who's not seeing behind the scenes. Maybe there is. I don't know what happens when they take this child out of the classroom after the episode is over, and I don't know what happens at home. And
I'm
so
so
I'm not
sorry.
saying that there isn't change, but it's certainly not public knowledge. It's not knowledge. I understand. Obviously, they're not going to share names and details.
No,
There's
yep,
obviously keeping the child safe, and
yep.
I understand all that. Right now, we're running off of just we understand your concern. We're so sorry that it's happened. We're trying our best. We're trying something different, and hopefully this time it works. And then right now we're going on month two of um, once a week or every other week, checking in and basically saying that my child reports that the results are the same, that the concerns are still there. It's to the point where I have and my wife has considered relocation out of the classroom at the very least, but maybe a different school. Is it going to be different at another school? I don't know. This is very new to me as far as this immediate concern and this problem. Um, And so I'm hoping and praying that the school is going to turn this around at some point. Um, but I'm playing a very dangerous game that is making me very anxious, where I'm worried that I'm going to wait too long for the result that I'm after. and my child could get hurt before I finally say we're out, we're pulling our child out. She's not safe here.
So you're looking for another option. Now, I know I don't want to make this about advertising, but that's kind of what Freedom to Learn is kind of doing. And you say you don't want private schools, and when that's what I mean with one of the videos, I was like, we have certain feelings about, the options that we have for education, and Freedom to Learn is the fourth option, right? That it is public school, so right, but it is run by the parents.
Yes. So run when I say I don't want private school, I should be more specific.
You think of an elite
I'm,
group.
I'm I'm thinking of an elite group that has a
Their own.
private curriculum
Yeah.
and
And they agree
doesn't
on
open
those.
them up to any public.
But they agree on the same values, and you're saying those kind of values, they're personal and they go home, right? They're from home. So it's kind of like the public school, they have many different children with different values,
Mhm.
right? And they're not maybe agreeable on each other, but I mean, could it be possible that we have a public school that's saying your values are yours, but let's make it work together, as in like what we're saying, school is a different environment. These are the expectations, right?
Is it possible? Yes.
But we need to get organized.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Hear that, guys? Let's get organized.
and then again, that would be incumbent on the parents, and so that does feed into what I was saying. That I
It's a
think that
decision
there
that we
are
make.
responsibilities that the parents have been putting to the side,
Either way, you decide. I mean,
myself
you
included.
either decide not to do anything about it or you decide to do something about it, right? So either way, you're making a decision.
Well, there's a
So,
significant amount of us that are assuming and waiting that someone is going to do something about it, and that's just coming down the pipeline. And
do you have leads on what they're doing?
no,
Okay. So as far as you know right now, no one's really doing anything about it.
oh, as far as what
Like organizing and changing these things so that it can function safely and efficiently for education.
I mean, no, but I could be ignorant. I am not on social media or any.
You are now.
Well, there's
Hi
that.
guys.
Sorry, world. But I'm sure there are chat groups and forums where people are getting together and talking about it and maybe wanting to start to take action. I might be ignorant to those things because I am not privy to that.
Okay. Okay, well, thanks for that. That gives me an idea. I didn't write any of this down. I'll go through it later and write it down. But
Yeah, it's on
um,
video.
yeah, yeah, it's on video, so that's true. I don't even know
You
why I
got
was
all the
thinking.
notes you need right there.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyways, I guess yeah. Thank you, Will, for the information. And yeah, if you have something to say about this, if you have information for anybody out there who can relate to these things, and you're looking for solutions, you're looking for answers, even if it's not freedom to learn, you know, um, this is a much bigger problem than just Will's. So uh, yeah, let's change this. Let's change education. Thank you very much for listening, and see ya. Oh, have a good weekend. Okay.
Like, favorite, subscribe.
Yeah, that's right. Like, like and subscribe. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Bye.